Good morning. A little audio test this morning. And I was shopping the Steam sale and I found this cute little game called Hanako's Flower Shop. And at first I was like, no, it's a visual novel, and I was kind of scared. It's usually a lot of reading, but this one is entirely voice acted. So I thought it would be really cute if I can get it to here. Yeah, we can see it.
Grandpa, I'm home!
If anybody's played this before, let me know. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I saw it was voice acted and looked cute.
Ah, welcome back. How did it go?
Great! I was really moved by the principal's speech. He said that no matter who we will become or where we will go, it is important to always stay honest and care about those around us, even if they are strangers.
How does the audio sound, Dave? Is it better with the headset? I don't know if you listened to it before when I was on mic, but it was quite choppy.
And we took some pictures. I took one with Mr. Fujioka.
Ah, Fujioka. Your favorite history teacher, right?
Yep.
Fujioka has a good family.
Oh yeah, we can turn it down. I do have it down a little bit. Headset's all the way up.
Your teacher's parents are truly kind and hard-working
Is that
people.
better? I kind of need it lower for me. We might turn off the... this might be good. I'm not a big fan of game music ever, usually.
And he himself was a calm child who spent his days quietly reading books, hardly ever causing any trouble.
This game has all of 7 followers on Twitch, which I think is so sad because it is like a little indie game. It does look really cute, and like it's pretty exceptional that it has voice acting for a visual novel that's difficult
And
to
what
find.
was I like, Grandpa?
Oh, sweetie, I already told you so many times. You probably know it better than I do.
Aw, but you tell it so well. You have your own way of telling stories. I can't do that.
Oh, all right. I'll tell you once more. But a little bit later. We have work to do. Go and change, and then we'll begin.
Okay. Finally! It's my first day working at Asaoka's flower shop. I won't let you down, Grandpa. Here.
Well, then, do you want to try making a bouquet? Just as a warm...
I'll even make 2 if it's for you.
I always knew my granddaughter was a generous child.
There was a trigger warning at the beginning of this too about like death and loss, so you know, no spoilers, but you might cry today.
What kind of bouquet should I make for you?
Not that I think we'll finish it today.
Oh, no. This time, you will make a bouquet for yourself. Today is your birthday as a florist. Make your...
Oh. What?
Oh, you're asking me?
Sorry, I'm impatient and I'm a fast reader.
I've always made bouquets for you or someone else. I haven't the slightest idea of what to make for myself.
Close your eyes. Think back to a happy moment in your life.
2008.
Let it be something distant. Something from your childhood.
Oh. Farther back than 2008. Maybe. We have to take notes. Upsetting. Homework. Oh gosh, there's a test. Oh, the art in this is so pretty.
Grandpa,
Hopefully
what
we
is
don't
a
find out
dream?
it's AI or something. It doesn't look like it is, but this is on the Steam sale as well. So, hashtag not sponsored. Oh, there's a question. That the middle one's the capitalism answer. We're not going for that. Let's say happiness.
It's what will make you happy.
Oh, I wonder. So this is telling us it took a little note, perhaps.
It might be an event, a place, a person.
It says my game
Maybe
is
it's a
Dreamlight
period in your
Valley.
life, or just a short moment of it. But dreams are what fill you with joy.
But my category is right here. Let me see if I can edit it. Oh my gosh. I'm using the OBS to put it in a category, and I wonder if it like didn't refresh. Because I was thinking, okay, I just updated it. Okay, don't trust OBS, I guess. Is that updated, or do I have to... Hashtag new streamer. Okay, hopefully, it'll refresh soon. But yes, sorry, it's not Disney Dreamlight Valley. Although we'll probably definitely be streaming that. That is like my main game that I play in my free time. And Tuesday, or no, Wednesday, there's a huge update. And I have the day off work, so I probably will be streaming that on that day. Okay, so joy, and it took a note.
What's your dream, Grandpa?
Dream.
Mine? Well, I've always wanted to have my own flower shop and to name it after our family, and I made it come true.
Wow! Are you happy now?
You tell me. I'm happier than anyone.
Grandpa,
What, sweetie?
Dave, do I have you modded? Wonder if I can mod you. I can ban you. I can time you out. I can warn you. Well, we'll worry about that another day.
will you teach me how to make bouquets?
If you want, sure. Is it in...
This is my dream. I want to be happy and filled with joy, just like you are.
Oh, she's so young.
I see. Then I will teach you,
Still
Hanako.
has hope in the
I
world.
definitely will.
I warn and ban you. IRL.
I
Daily.
thought back to the day when I asked you to teach me how to arrange bouquets. Do you remember? We were at a big field of flowers near the Ayano family's mansion.
Of course I remember.
Not the
How could I
generational
forget?
wealth.
So small, yet already thinking about dreams, happiness, and good work. You grew up far too soon, Hanako. Your father would have had a serious competitor had you followed in his steps and become an economist.
I'm sure my math skills wouldn't let me take a single step.
That
Same.
might be true.
Dyscalculia.
Anyways, let's start.
Oh boy. We're going to make a bouquet with our feelings. Okay. So we talked about happiness. We talked about dreams. We had some nostalgia. Kinship, we are related. More happiness. We duplicate a flower. Let's do 2 roses. We're doubly dreaming. I wonder, do we have to use all 6? Like if I do 5? Oh, I can do 5. I wonder if I'm gonna get in trouble for that. We gotta save our money, okay? We're not wasting our flower budget on Grandpa. Sorry, I just saw that you typed stuff, but it's blocking what I'm looking at. Okay, whatever. It won't let me do that right now.
Wow.
We're not reading all of that.
Had I known it would be that simple, I would have thought of something more difficult. Good job, sweetie.
Thank you.
Let's go to the garden and check on how our flowers are doing.
Let's go.
We have to grow the flowers too. Farm to table.
Oh, some of them can already be picked.
Okay.
Maybe we could plant some new ones. Do you have any seeds?
Oh, good thinking. Here you go.
Oh, I figured it out. Did that work? Pick the flowers. Look at that. Give me all them flowers. Okay. Now do we have to plant some? Okay. So we used roses. So let's plant those.
Splendid.
Oh, that's all it wanted us to do. Okay. I don't know if it worked or not. You tell me. You tell me.
Don't forget to come visit the garden every now and then to pick flowers, and to plant new ones. They need time to grow, but it's less expensive than to buy those which are already blooming, and it's
Makes
very
sense.
rewarding to grow them yourself.
Of
Is it?
course.
I kill
Now,
everything.
let's get back inside.
We shouldn't plant. Shouldn't we plant? Oh, it's going to let me. Or carnations are such a gross flower. Gladiolas. Okay. Okay. Now what? Now what? Did I break the game? Oh.
Let's order some more flowers and seed, and then call it a day. It's getting dark out. You've just come back from your graduation, and I haven't given you a chance to get your breath yet.
Carnations are popular probably because they're pretty affordable. But I don't personally care for them. I know some people it's their favorite flower.
What an annoying old man, right?
You know that's not true. I don't think that at all. I love our flower shop, and everything seems to be easy so far.
Then I will entrust you to make an order. Check what flowers and seeds we are low on and order some more.
Okay, order. We just planted some. I mean, how many do we need? Alstroemeria. I guess we'll just order what we have 4 of. Hyacinth. Oh wait, was I only supposed to order 2? Well,
Great.
I'm probably poor now.
Delivery
oh my
is
god,
usually quite
$300.
I think we'll get the order tomorrow. All right, sweetie. That's all for
Splurge.
today.
Treat yourself.
Go and get some rest.
Yep, will do. I feel more tired than I expected. I should take a short nap. Hey, you promised. Tell me.
All right, promises must be kept after all. What do you want me to tell you?
Tell me the story about how you lost me at the supermarket.
Oh, trauma.
Oh, what am I going to do with you? There's so many good stories, but you picked the one I'm still embarrassed about.
But it's funny. Who else had something like this happen to them?
Well, you know, like the girl on the milk carton comes to mind. Like,
All right, fine. Listen. You were a tiny little girl back then. Your parents were away studying at university, and I was taking care of you. One day, the first ever supermarket opened in our city. A big one, with lots of lights, just like in the big cities. The kind we had only ever seen on television. You and I were just idling around, and suddenly I decided I wanted to take a look at the supermarket. Just what is so super about it anyways? I put you on my back, and we went out. It was so big. It had so many things inside that we were just wandering around, gawking at everything like cave people for an hour or so.
Costco.
You
Got
were
it.
fidgeting a lot, so I got tired and had to take you off my back.
And it was then when I saw the toys.
Oh, yes. And among them was a yellow bear. The one that is taking a nap on your table right now.
Grandpa, it's a lion.
So we're having some cognitive issues.
Ah, right. It always looked like a bear to me for some reason. Now, where was I?
What? What does that
And then
mean?
little Hanako was off through the whole supermarket to get the toys.
Ah, yes. When I noticed you weren't around, oh my goodness, I swear, my hair almost went all gray that very instant.
Not the victim
oh,
blaming.
Grandpa, how could you lose your only granddaughter?
And I did lose you, in a supermarket of all places. I don't know whether to laugh or to cry.
It's gonna end up with CPS involved, isn't it?
And there were a lot of people. Everyone, just like you and me, came to take a look at the supermarket. I went left, then right. But wherever I looked, there was no sign of you. I ended up not having the slightest idea of where to look. Then my nose got itchy, and I sneezed so loudly that everyone started staring at me. I opened my eyes and saw you standing right in front of me.
Conjured by sneezing.
You said, "Nice," to me with a wide smile on your face and a stuffed bear lion in your hands.
Stuffed bear lion.
Was it me sneezing that you
A man
liked,
bear pig.
or were you just excited to have the lion? I couldn't tell. I grabbed you, paid for the toy, and we headed back home.
I was was afraid as well. The lion was with me, but Grandpa wasn't. I went to look for you, but everyone was so tall. And I was so small that I couldn't see anything. But when I heard your sneeze, I knew it was you right away.
This is how I find my husband when I'm places. So this totally checks out.
No one else sneezes like that.
The old man sneezes.
That's true. So that's the story.
Yeah.
Hanako, I wanted to ask you about something.
Yes?
Are you really sure you want to work at the flower shop? Your parents are doing their best to give you a life abroad, hoping that you will one day follow in their footsteps. And here you are, sitting with an old man in an old shop in a tiny town on the edge of the world. Look, even the ceiling is starting to get cracks in it. You could go to your parents and become a serious business lady in a black suit, just like your mother.
Ugh, capitalism. Don't
But
do it,
business
girl.
ladies can't have pigtails.
Okay.
That's true. They can only have a ponytail.
Who knew?
My dearest Grandpa, we already talked about this, haven't we? I've already decided ever since I was a child, and have never wanted to change my decision ever since. I will breathe life into every nook and cranny of the Asauka flower shop, no matter what.
But you have never seen the world. Who knows? Maybe you will find something even more exciting out there.
My world is here, Grandpa, with you and our old yet so cozy flower shop in our tiny city.
Why do I even try to persuade you? I do want you to stay and work at the shop. You have such a talent, such a feel for the complex nature of flowers. But your parents are worried, and so am I. We all want what's best for you. What if you don't like the job?
You know, Grandpa, I would really like it if my parents came back.
This girl gets abandoned by everyone.
We need them here, not somewhere far away.
You know why it's like this, right? They're valuable experts in their field. They simply cannot fulfill their potential here.
They are busy doing their deliverables and delivering shareholder value. That's more important than a child. Everyone knows that.
Over there, they have high buildings and colorful billboards.
And we have a clear and beautiful night sky.
It's always busy over there.
It's like Stardew with flowers.
Well, it's nice and quiet here.
Just realizing that.
Even the smell over there must be different.
Here, it smells like flowers and home. What's better than that? Grandpa, I want to be here, by your side. I like it that way. Why are you trying to get rid of me?
I'm not Hanako. I'm just afraid of being selfish.
He's dying.
I should go.
All right.
I am truly happy to have you here, sweetie. Thank you.
Don't
And then
worry,
he
Grandpa.
dies in the
This
night.
is my home. I'm not going anywhere.
Good night.
Sleep tight.
Why did it start raining in the middle of the night?
Well, it's called weather, and it can occur at any time. Maybe he is from Stardew, you know, because if it's raining there, it rains all day long in the morning. Oh. Am I supposed to be doing something? Oh my god, why did it quit raining in the morning?
Good morning. A good night's sleep. Now it's time for work.
Okay. Am I supposed to be doing something? Oh.
Good morning.
Oh, hey, sweetie. Did you sleep well? What did you dream about last night?
Sheep. Oh. I mean, this is me IRL, so...
I was an owl, hooting at something I wasn't happy about. Full of pride, I was sitting at the top of a high tree,
Did
looking
he?
down at people
He
passing
looks the
below
same
with
to
a
me.
smirk.
Okay.
I was also wearing glasses for whatever reason.
Well, it seems you weren't an ordinary owl. Maybe a scholar of some sort.
An economist, maybe.
And I would assume you were hooting at a plate
No.
of natto I was giving you when you were small.
No, because he victim blamed her for turning his hair gray earlier. When he lost her at the supermarket.
Ew.
Look at you. You grew up to be quite a capricious girl, didn't you? Anyway, I'm leaving to visit Mrs. Sato.
Vocabulary.
She's been inviting me over for apple pie and afternoon tea for almost a month now.
Oh, gosh. Okay, girlfriend.
I'm leaving you in charge.
Gotcha. Grandpa, why do you always say Mrs. Sawatome? Weren't you friends even before I was born?
Well, you know, Hanako. Some women are always a Mrs., and it's usually not worth questioning, even if they are much younger.
What?
Is that so?
What does that mean?
Am I such a woman?
For someone,
Some of this might
maybe.
be lost in, like, cultural context that maybe we don't have.
And for you?
For me, you are a sweet little girl who planted her baby tooth, then watched it for half a day just to see what it would grow to be.
You enjoy bringing that up so much, don't you?
Well, what else do I have left?
Oh, God, Bleak.
Mm-hmm.
I only have stories about you as a dumb
Right.
child.
I'm going now.
That's all I
Make
have.
sure that we have flowers for customers. If there are no flowers, no one will come. And even if someone does, we won't be able to help them.
Pressure.
Once you're done with the preparations, you can go and do your own thing. But don't go too far.
All right.
Oh, here's him with brown hair. Over here. On the shelf.
I'm leaving.
What is this wanted poster? Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Hanako! Hanako! Hey, hey!
Oh.
We're here! Howdy!
Hello there, Hanako. Hello, girls.
Girls.
Nice to see you. How are you doing?
I thought...
Awesome!
Oh.
We woke up and figured it'd be fun to say
I,
hello to all our
I
neighbors.
didn't even notice it changed
Hey there,
people.
neighbor.
Hello, neighbor. So, Yuri, what about you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm busy going over what we studied this year.
Right now?
Yes,
Oh, you know it all.
better to be a know-it-all than a troublemaker.
I know.
Stop making faces.
I only do it sometimes.
I'm truly speechless. These are the Shining twins.
Papa says it's fine as long as I don't do it all the time. I'm just following his advice.
That's the only advice you listen to.
All right. Come on, girls, don't fight.
Hanako, we wanted to tell you that we're planning to go for a walk in the forest today. If you want us to find any flowers for you, just let us know.
Okay, free labor.
Yep.
I
We'll
like
for
them
sure
now.
bring you everything we find, neighbor.
It's a good thing you asked. I actually could use some more flowers for the...
Lovely.
You can count on us. It's been fun talking to you, neighbor, but we have stuff to do. See ya!
See you later, Hanako.
Okay,
Bye,
so we're
girls.
just kind of at the mercy of whatever they bring us then? I
I'm
thought we
glad
could,
that
like,
the
place
twins
an
offered
order.
their help. But who knows when they'll come back and how long I'll have to wait for
If
them.
they'll come back. Maybe they'll get eaten by a man bear pig or something.
Maybe I should go and look myself.
Good morning. Are you Asaoka Hanako?
Good
No.
morning. Yes, that's me.
Never heard of her.
I'm here to deliver an order you placed yesterday.
Oh, just in time.
And here you go. Here's the check.
Okay,
And a seal just over here, please.
done.
I actually knew about seals in Japan. I remember like when PewDiePie moved over there with Marzia, they had to go to like some type of city hall and get like specific seals so you can like stamp your signature on things, and it's like one of the first things you do to like establish residency.
And over here.
Done.
Ah, great. Thank you for your order. And if you need anything else, we are always happy to be of help. To be honest, I am a huge fan of your grandfather's talent. He's an exceptional person.
Yes, I think so too. Just like most of the people in our lovely city.
Can't argue with that. Please excuse me. I have to go now.
Yes, of course. Goodbye.
Have a nice day.
This should be enough. I'll wait till Grandpa is back, and then I'll take a walk. Maybe someone will come in the meantime. My very first customer. Who will it be?
Scared. Wait for a customer.
Welcome to our flower
A
shop.
dog? I refuse to believe this dog has money.
Oh.
Quiet!
Okay.
Sit. Quiet!
This person has money.
Sit quiet!
Oh my goodness, aggressive.
Sit! Now!
Okay, she's not nice to her dog.
Sit, my dear, doesn't mean belly up for a rub. A small but important difference.
They
I guess I'll
couldn't
have
get
to
an
explain
actual
it to you
dog
again.
barking. No, that was not in the budget.
I'm so sorry. You just can't take being left behind when I go somewhere. And I couldn't find a spot to tie him down outside anyway. Is it okay if he stays here? Are dogs even allowed in here?
To be honest, I'm not sure.
Okay,
It's the first time somebody ever brought a pet.
for living in this shop her whole life and she doesn't know.
Even if it's not allowed, we can make an exception, since it's the first time.
Thanky thanks. I know he's
Mm.
big and all, but he won't hurt a
Thanky
fly,
thanks.
trust me. I know everyone says that about their dogs, but in this case, it's as true as it gets. Cross my heart. He's well behaved and won't cause any trouble.
Remember when we were happy that this was voice acted? I remember that time.
Now, this is, well, maybe not as true as it gets.
He seems to be quiet for now.
It's supposed to be an
Okay.
Irma dog.
Quiet? Oh, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Hanako, and I am delighted to welcome you both to our flower shop.
Oh, cool! I'm Rin, a freelance artist, an exemplary student, a beauty, and the
She's
best
a
dog
beauty.
trainer in the world.
The best dog trainer while her dog like loses its mind.
And some of these things are not really true either.
I notice.
A freelance artist?
Not literally. I don't draw. I'm actually studying to be an engineer. The College of Industrial Construction and Business. Yeah. Actually, I don't know what any of that stuff means. I just read it in some
Is
big
this
old
person
brainy
a
book.
compulsive liar?
Sounds solid.
And what's the name of your doggy?
My doggy? Not Wolf. His name is Tin. Tin is my bestie. He was the first puppy I ever raised. I was about 15 and I didn't exactly know what I was doing. I am the master of nicknames. I'm Rin. He's Tin. Isn't it awesome? Super simple and super easy for dogs to learn.
Wow.
He seems to like his name. Are you and Tin looking for something specific?
That's right! Specific. No better way to put it. Tin seems to have picked up the specific scent somewhere around here and led me to this place.
Yeah, and our main character is supposed to have just graduated. So I don't graduated from what? Like we're not sure. Like middle school or we don't know.
Are there any cats?
Kindergarten.
He's
Just like leaving her to run his shop.
I'm afraid we don't sell cats. After all, this is a flower shop, not a pet
No
shop.
wonder she said she doesn't know math.
No. That's not what I mean. Obviously, you don't sell cats. Selling flowers bundled with cats would be silly. But cats bundled with flowers? Magnificent! Kawaii even!
Oh no. We're getting
I mean, maybe?
aggressively
I'm not sure.
anime right now.
Whoa! It's all right. No need to bark up a storm. Do you want to get a kitten and flowers for someone?
A puppy, not a kitten. And not as a gift. I want to sell it. Stray puppies are hard to sell.
Sell a puppy?
Huh?
Just
My
give it away.
apologies.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Putting the cart before
She's
the
trying
horse.
to be a dog
Let me
breeder.
explain. No, Tin. We won't be riding any horses. Okay, so I don't really breed dogs. I just take them. You know, off the streets.
She's stealing people's dogs.
Oh, now I get it. You take in strays.
You bet. They're nobody's dogs. I mean, what kind of dog would just wander around if it had a home? You see, Hanako, when I spot one of those poor things, no one to feed them, care for them, or even say a kind word to them, I get so angry, like a volcano ready to erupt with lava.
This is a lot.
Imagine what it would be like if no one had ever been kind to you in your life.
We're making a lot of assumptions right now.
The worst thing is, I seem to be the only one who notices them. People just don't care. And when they do, it's even worse. They really believe that by hurting dogs and chasing them away, that they're solving a problem, as if that makes them responsible adults.
What? What is she talking about? This has to be cultural. In America, I think I've only personally ever seen one stray dog in my entire life, which was very quickly adopted by my family.
Hurting dogs? It's as if the only two things
Now,
these
stray cats,
so-called
yeah.
adults can do is either do nothing or make things worse. That's freaking ridiculous!
You're so passionate about this. I completely agree. Cruelty won't solve this. It's not the right way.
Awesome! That's what I thought too. So I found another way. I saved up some money, rented a stall in the market, and so here I am, selling stray dogs.
This is such a weird business model.
It's so much more convenient than begging your friends to adopt them or putting up ads.
Yeah, it's way better than like trying to rehab them, like finding a responsible person to adopt your dog.
That's a great idea. But I think you were telling me it wasn't working out?
Yeah, things did not turn out as I had imagined. People don't want to buy my puppies even though I make them so pretty. Pretty enough for a dog show.
She makes them pretty? What is she doing
You
to the
gotta
dog?
see how they turn their noses when I tell them that these are mixed breed pups. And I was told I have to pay the
They
rent
want
for the
purebred.
stall monthly. Can you imagine? This got me so down that I thought I'd have to give up on the stall. But then I
Where
thought
does she
about it
keep the
some
dogs
more.
at night?
Everybody wants purebred dogs because they're popular. So my dogs have to become popular too! On Vogue! I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I got it from a fashion magazine. Sounds like something people are going to like.
Since you're here, that means you've already thought of something, right?
I
This
sure
conversation is so long. Can we just make flowers,
have. Every
please?
puppy has a unique personality, and they'd make a good friend for the right person. But people don't realize that they only see their fur color, ear shape, things like that. There was this show I watched a while ago on TV. They said that flowers can convey qualities that are hard to express with words. But I need someone who can help me. So, you will be my florist. I'll put a bouquet next to each puppy to describe
Is she
their
gonna pay
personalities.
us? She's already like, I can't pay for a
Grab their
stall.
attention.
I'm stealing
It
dogs off
has
the
to.
street.
100%. What do you think?
To be honest, I can't say for sure. Sounds creative and all,
Yeah.
but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's a little out there.
It's finally someone's realizing that there's something wrong here.
I mean, you heard this on TV and just decided to run with it. Are you sure it will work?
Yes, I'm positive. But you're right. I'm getting ahead of myself. I thought my stray puppies would sell like hotcakes. Here's what we'll do. 1 puppy and 1 bouquet. As an experiment.
Great! Let's try that.
I find this
What kind of
very
personality
strange
does the
that
puppy
this is
have?
like our first customer instead of just like a normal person who's like, I would like to buy flowers for my significant other or whatever. No, this is
The kind that makes it difficult to
this is
find
our
an owner.
first person that walked in the door.
Crimson is a proud and independent dog. He's restless, pushy,
Oh,
and
I'm
doesn't
supposed to be
like
paying
being
attention.
cooed over. He growls, sometimes tries to bite.
Oh my god. We're trying to get someone to adopt this dog that bites?
But he's been to the vet, and he's completely fine. He's just not in a rush to obey a stranger, and he's protective of his siblings.
This woman's going to get sued.
Crimson
there's a part
needs
about
someone with a
aliens?
firm character and the right attitude. He'll show respect if respected, and can be a protector of the household. A man would probably be most appropriate for Crimson.
Okay, yeah, we can let men just be bitten
It
by
would take
dogs.
strong nerves and months
Now,
of training.
now I'm seeing the
but
vision.
this
I'm
dog
getting
could
it
be
now.
A faithful and loyal friend. A friend, not some guard beast. He'll love to play, and he'll be eager to expend his enormous energy on games. And a 4-legged friend like this will never let something bad happen to his owner.
I mean, except bite him
A great dog.
with his own mouth and teeth.
Not you. But yeah, you're great too. No argument there.
You were right. It shouldn't be difficult to express this with flowers. Patience, Tin. I'll need some time to work.
Okay, what flowers say bite? Do we have any Venus flytraps? Love, loss, pain. Oh my god. I honest to God have no clue what I'm supposed to put in this. What? How? What of these flowers say dog that bites? I'm at a loss. I'm truly at a loss. I am gonna put this because it's funny. Regret? Should we look at the notes? Wait, is this the notes? Oh, this is me. I'm supposed to be writing this one down. I feel like there's an easier way to do that. So they should have like highlighted words in the conversation that were important, and then you could have clicked on them, and then it would have added it automatically to your notes section. Patience. Should we do patience? Is there any flower that means patience? Enormous energy. Faithful, loyal. Okay, that's giving me more to work with. I'm still gonna leave pain because I think it's hilarious. Okay, so let's focus on like patience, faithful, and loyal. Faithful and loyal. Okay, there's loyalty, which is also sorrow and regret. So it works out. It works out. Do I have to put 6 flowers in this? Wait, what was the other words that we said? Faithful, loyal. Oh, that one's faith. Is that good? Can we be done? 3 out of 6. I mean, we gotta remember we only have $311. I don't even have enough money for this. Oh no. Maybe we get rid of this one. We have no money. What am I gonna do? Or is it just not letting me because I don't have 6? Maybe I just need to add 6 and just get over it. Can we just put multiple of the same? Because I feel like there aren't any other ones. I feel like I'm not doing this right. What was the other one? Let's just do that.
No, it's not right. Something is off. What if I replaced this flower with this one?
Okay. She wants me to get rid of the pain one. Do I leave it the way it is? No. We'll be right. She wants flocks.
Here, this bouquet should be a good fit for Crimson.
Awesome! I don't know much about flowers, but I can sort of tell that they match. This should do the trick.
Good, she's an idiot. She doesn't know we're bad at this.
Now I'll teach that lady from the cat store a lesson.
Jesus. You know, most flowers are toxic to cats, so she's definitely gonna poison a cat now.
Yesterday, she straight up told me that stray puppies won't interest anyone. Can you imagine? And she sells cats. Cats! What does she know anyway?
The city is full of people just black market selling animals.
I doubt cats have anything to do with this. No point in being angry at them. But please, let me know how it went. If my bouquet worked for Crimson or not. I'm really curious. If you don't have the time, just write me a letter.
She did pay us for that. We're rich now.
I'll make time for this, but now I gotta run. I left a friend keeping an eye on the stall. He must be losing his mind by now.
She has a
See
friend.
you later, Hanako.
That's the most unbelievable part of this story.
Goodbye, Rin. Bye-bye, Tin.
Ruff, ruff.
Wow! He's actually waving at me with his paw.
Oh, sure.
Ruff, ruff.
Oh my god, they really made him do it.
He sure is. Tin can do all sorts of stuff. He hates commands, but loves doing tricks. I've been teaching him since I was a teen.
Oh my god, she's in her 20s now.
Good job, Tin.
Supposedly.
You get a cookie.
Yeah, the cost when you're making a bouquet is what you're selling it for. Perhaps. I mean, we're a bad economist, so who's to say? We don't understand
home.
capitalism here.
Welcome back. How was the pie?
You left me alone and a crazy person came.
Oh, delicious. I ate so much I can barely move. Whew. By the way, they asked me to bring you some apples. Said they're real sweet.
Are we gonna put apples in a bouquet?
Thank you. I'll definitely try them.
Do we have to eat in this game?
You know me. I like eating sweets. And with a job like ours, some people may not always be nice.
There's Karens at the flower mart.
Sometimes they may say quite unpleasant things. But I want you to understand that they're not all doing this because they're bad.
This is like what I tell new employees at my job. I'm a social worker. And he's talking about a flower store.
It's just that something from their past has hurt them. And
This
hurt
is-
people hurt
This
people.
is literally my job.
Sometimes a person will hurt others when they are struggling for attention.
Oh my god, deep. So true.
No matter what kind of customer we are dealing
Grandpa
with,
spitting wisdom.
we have to do our job and stay cheerful. Sweets help to brighten up the mood.
Oh, okay. So we need... This is kind of like stamina to deal with awful people. That's what apples are for.
I thought that you simply liked sweets. But I see that you
We
had
have
a
to
secret
eat-
motive.
We have to
all
eat
along.
our feelings to deal with terrible people. That's the moral of this.
Yes, young detective. And one more thing. If you ever happen to get down, turn on the radio and listen to some music.
Isn't that just the truth? I mean, this is life.
You can often hear a violin or other beautiful instruments playing on the radio. It's always nice to listen to calming music.
I
like
saw
this.
that radio back there, and it did look clickable. I zoned right in on
Plus,
that.
they talk about the weather as well.
No, we can't eat flowers. We can only eat apples.
It's good to know when it's about to rain so that you don't go looking for flowers in the middle of a storm.
Oh, thanks for mentioning that.
Oh,
I
boy.
was just about to go for a walk. Maybe I'll manage to gather some more flowers.
Ah, good thinking. Walking is good for your health. Go on.
It's really just
I'll keep
teaching
an
you
eye
how to
on your
live.
workplace and
Roger that, partner.
Walking sim time. I look how it even says no customers. Like this is your happy place. Even in this game, customers are like the enemy, just like how we all feel about retail. Go for a walk to gather
This
flowers.
bucket is quite small, so I should only pick the flowers that I need the most.
How do I know what that is, babe? I don't know. I know nothing about our supply and demand. Oh, I just walked right through that. Okay. But how do I know? And see, if I click on it, it tells me about it. But I've also picked it already. I'm just supposed to memorize their colors, probably. Oh. Do you think we will encounter man-bear pigs out here? The next part of the game. Fighting the 30 to 50 wild hogs. I hope we unlock, like, different flowers eventually. Oh, what's this? Can we go here? No. Okay, we only need one more flower, so let's get on out of here. Or do we just click this?
I'm back.
Yeah.
Where is Grandpa?
Yes, the economy of this whole place seems to be just taking things that are free and then selling people them. Like stray cats, stray dogs, picking flowers. So it's like, why don't they just cut out the middleman? You know, it's clear why she's not an economist.
He
The
must be
business
taking a nap.
model flawed.
I'll eat an apple and wait for the next customer then.
Eat an apple. That's this. How do I eat it? Food. We have milkshakes, Pocky sticks, lemon tea. Nice.
Yummy!
Hey, we're back!
Oh god.
And we brought you all the flowers we could find.
Here you go. I'm not sure if these are the kinds you need, though.
Maybe they'll bring us something new.
Thank you, girls.
It's like dandelion
These are all
and
lovely. You helped me a lot.
poison ivy.
No problem, neighbor. Where?
Nope, it's all the same flowers that we already had.
Time
Okay.
to work now.
Wait for a customer. Oh, good God. What unhinged
you.
human.
Welcome to our flower shop. It's all right. Please, come in.
Okay. My name is Ishikawa Kumiko, and I am the head of the Overseas Scouting Department at the Blizzard Company.
Is that supposed to be Blizzard? That's funny.
Finding jobs for you, come heat or freezing cold. We look forward to our new partnership and successful collaboration.
Oh.
We need flowers to put in Hearthstone. What do you recommend?
Oh no, I did it again. I'm so. I've got an important guest coming to our office tomorrow, and I'm worried I won't make a good enough impression to show I'm right for this leadership position.
You struck me as a very businesslike person. I would trust you to lead. I'm Hanako.
After
It's
my
nice to meet
20
you.
seconds of knowing
May
you.
I ask you for a favor, Miss Hanako?
Of course. I'm all ears.
As I said, an important guest is coming to our office tomorrow. It's a VP from another major company. I'm not mentioning names, otherwise I'll jinx it. The impression we make
It's
on
the people who make
may
Fortnite.
determine whether we sign. We need to show our mettle, our diligence, and well, by we, I
Oh
don't
wait, I
mean
should have paid
you
attention
and
to what
me,
those
I mean,
words were.
well, me and
Commitment.
my colleagues. Yeah.
I'm
really
not sure I can
testing-
help. I've never worked for a company, and I don't know anything about business dealings.
It's really testing my reading comprehension.
You don't have to. I have a plan.
Really? Let's hear it.
We're going all out. Max effort. Pour our heart and soul into every last detail.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Just like highlight the name, like make them a little bold, okay? Make them easier for these dummies.
Although it may seem a bouquet
me.
wouldn't make a difference, that simply isn't true. Our guest is a true professional. Someone who won't wade through documents or conduct extensive negotiations to
Kojima.
decide if everything is in order.
She's meeting with
No.
Kojima.
As soon as he steps into the office, he'll notice, process,
Mhm.
and form an impression of countless details.
It literally is Kojima.
Whoa, people like that actually exist? It's like something from a sci-fi movie.
As I said, a true professional. If I can understand how he thinks, I can make sure the contract is signed.
Good luck with that. You're never gonna figure that out.
It's like in those crime thrillers. To catch a criminal, you need to think like a criminal. Then again, I'm not so sure. I don't watch crime thrillers. Come to think of it, I don't watch movies at all. Too much work, too little time. Get it?
I guess?
I did it again. Usually I can keep it together, but when something big is about to happen, my thoughts get messy.
Yes, I understand. I'm like that too. You gotta stop and relax for a few minutes.
Sure.
You should turn the music on for her.
A certain well-known company from Eastern Europe reached out to us. I won't
Eastern
name drop
Europe.
it though. It could be too confusing.
Eastern Europe Game Company. I have
But
no idea.
they need people who can put the heart of an ordinary worker at ease.
Thank you.
I mean, I guess she
but
didn't say
I already
gaming.
have a job,
Oh, or
and I
did she?
like it a lot.
She said Blizzard,
Really?
which made me think of
Great.
Blizzard.
Who do you work as?
What do you mean?
I wouldn't consider France to be Eastern Europe,
Ah, I did
but
it
I
again.
did think of them.
I'm so sorry. I need a bouquet. We have one at the reception, but it's fake. I always thought it looked kind of sad. It doesn't need water and it doesn't wilt, but pets, for example. Why do people have them? Wouldn't it be easier to buy stuffed animals instead?
Oh, let's not introduce her to the lady from before.
I think people enjoy taking care of living things, so I get what you mean. What kind of bouquet would you like?
Something fitting for a work environment. Subdued, yet cheerful and optimistic.
Not hypoallergenic.
I want the flowers to smile, not giggle like crazy. We need to show that we won't let anyone
Non-smiling
down,
flowers.
that we can be trusted,
Non-giggling
but not
flowers.
looked down upon.
Well, I'll
Trusted.
give it a try.
She said trusted. Trust. Oh, maybe this? Restraint? And lilies are like the most, like, people are so allergic to lilies. They have like crazy pollen issues. Trust. She said trust. Am I wrong? Oh, probably that one. Probably lots of that one. Wait, what else did she say? We use that one. Smile. Do any of them mean smile? Subdued, cheerful, optimistic. Subdued, cheerful, optimistic. Maybe this one? I feel like I'm terrible at this game. Reading comprehension is gone. We know. Let's just put a lot of this. And let's put one more of this. She loved it. Nailed it.
Oh, wonderful! You got what I wanted to convey just right!
I knew it.
You're a master of your craft.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it.
Thank you. It's my second order.
I'm heading out now, but I hope we can work together again soon.
I did look at my conversation history.
Of course. Please come again. I'm always happy to help.
Oh, back already?
Grandpa, it's already evening.
Where did he go? Oh,
He
he's
slept the
sleeping.
day away.
Oh, you're right. Well, I guess now I won't have anything else to do at night but to hunt mice.
What? They need a cat.
Nice job today, Hanako. Go and get some rest.
All right.
Shouldn't we, like, check our garden or something? That one flower, we're down to, like, one left. Screwed tomorrow.
So you arranged flowers for a business meeting. How did it go?
They all were allergic and had to leave.
I did everything the way you taught me. I listened to the client carefully while trying to memorize the most important details of the conversation. Then, I carefully selected the best matching flowers.
That's exactly what I did. I definitely memorized it.
I think it went well.
I didn't have to go back and remember a 10-second conversation.
But I'm not sure the bouquet will help during the meeting.
Yeah, the logic was faulty on her part. That's not my fault.
What do you think, Grandpa?
Yeah, I mean, it's what she thought would help. It's not about what I thought would help. That's her cross
It's not
to
about
bear.
flowers, my dear. It's about how a person feels. You say Miss Ishikawa was very anxious before the meeting, and that she wanted to pay attention to every little detail so that everything could be perfect. Though she might not know a lot about flowers herself, she does understand that you are an expert, and you are definitely able to arrange a bouquet better than her.
Yeah, better than that,
Whether the
dummy.
meeting goes well or not, Miss Ishikawa will know that she did everything she could. And it's a part of our job, Hanako. Flowers are a tiny detail of someone's life, and an essential one in the lives of people like you and me. Even though they're just a small role in the big picture for someone else, it's our job to make it a beautiful one.
I see. A small contribution into a big world, right?
I think you can put it that way, yes.
Give me them flowers. This is... Okay, I guess I have to click to end that.
A good night's sleep. I wonder how the meeting went for Miss Ishikawa. I hope it went well.
Notice how we don't care about the dog lady at all. Wait. We didn't order this. Does he just bring those every day? Wait, we ended the tutorial. It's not going to tell us what to do anymore. Listen to the weather.
Look forward to clear skies during daytime with golden sunlight creating a picturesque scene. The sunshine won't be the only star. Night brings a cloudless sky, perfect for moonlit walks.
Okay. Should we go to the garden? Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. And oh, we have like no seeds. We have to like order seeds too. Is that the flower I didn't have any of? Guess we'll just plant everything. The owl's displeased. What did we have only one of? This one. Eustoma. Which is like a dark blue color. But not that dark blue. Like a purpley blue. Okay. Anyway. I don't know. Should we like go try to find more of those? It's giving me too much freedom. Oh, can we just order them? Hematoma, that's what we needed. Where is it? So much. It's like half our money. 3. 3 will do it. Everything else, I think it's pretty good on. Oh, Frisia. Oh, and we can order seeds too. Can we not order Frisia? Apparently not. Can we order Frisia seeds? What? This is a new flower? Isn't that new too? Frisia. What the hell? No Frisia. Can only maybe be gathered in the wild, maybe? What other seeds? Phlox? Can we get phlox? No. This is very odd. Can we order phlox? Yes. Holy. That's a lot of money. I have to pilfer the forest some more. I guess I don't know if there's... I don't want to talk to them again. Is there like a clock in this? Okay, so I needed like a... Frisia was what? Pink? Oh, that was what? That's it. Okay, it's this dark pink one. Do we need this? What is this one? I don't know, it didn't tell me. Frisia. That might be one of the other blue ones that we needed. Wait, what's this orange one? Okay, now we gotta go home. One of the ones that we ordered and paid money for was blue. The Frisia one that we couldn't plant or order was pink. Okay. So I guess we wait for a customer because
here,
we're
you little
poor.
rascal. Grandpa needs to talk to the lady.
Got another grandpa.
Don't take too long. I can't wait.
Jesus.
I won't. Promise. Just sit still.
Okie dokie. I am best girl after all.
As if. You get in trouble before I can blink.
Wait till we find out this woman is 30. Kiki is 35. She's a businesswoman, okay?
Good day, sir. My name is Hanako. How may I help you?
Greetings, Hanako. I am Fumihiro. Over there's my grandkid, Kiki.
She's 37.
We were having a walk when I remembered my old friend's flower shop should be near. I thought I'd drop by and say hello. Except before me is a young girl, not him. His daughter, perhaps?
Granddaughter.
Is that so? Well, feels like just yesterday we dreamt about the future. It seemed so distant, like it was an eternity away.
And now we're dead.
And now it struck me, those days not only came, but they've long since gone by.
I'm gonna need an apple to get through this conversation.
Time flies fast indeed. There's no keeping up with it, let alone outrunning it. You just stumble and get hurt.
Grandpa, we're gonna be late.
Oh my god.
You're such a silly monkey. But she's right. We are heading over to meet with my wife. Could you
he's
please
married.
make a beautiful bouquet for
He's
her?
off the table.
Gladly. Tell me about her. The more I know about you and your relationship, the easier it will be to pick the right flowers.
Okay. Pay attention. Lock in.
Ah, I see. Well, we met a long time ago. Truth be told, I don't remember much of my life before her.
She's just a shrill, terrible woman.
I think it was a meaningless existence. Ages ago, your grandfather and I were great friends. We shared every secret.
We were in love, but it wasn't approved of.
I went on about my beloved so much that one time your grandpa climbed a tall tree
I don't like where this is going.
and stayed up there until I promised only to talk about fishing for the rest of the day. When she agreed to marry me, it felt as if the whole world blossomed just for me. It went vibrant with colors not to be found in any flower shop. Alas, life doesn't always go smoothly.
Now she's dead and we're buying her flowers for her funeral.
We had our share of bitter moments. It's a
I need a
pity
bitter
that only
flower.
now, as my hair has turned grey, that I finally see how small those quarrels were. Back then, I was convinced those were serious arguments, that I had to stand my ground.
Typical man. He must be a Cancer.
I regret letting the fights happen, giving her trouble. Though it's too late, I ought to ask her to forgive me. We were quite young when we got married. Such a marriage wouldn't last, they told us. Though there were hard times, we had respect for one another, always.
Sure you did.
Oh, and also, my granny's a star.
She's Lady Gaga.
A star?
Yup. Grandpa says she took off high into the sky.
Oh, Jesus, she is dead. She's dead.
And then I have to be a good girl, 'cause stars see very far, even in the day.
A star? I'm sorry,
Oh, no need to apologize. You're not at fault.
She's dead as hell.
But I miss her. Must be great to be a star, but I want to hug her so much. She's kind, warm, and she reads me bedtime stories.
I miss her too, sweetie. Very, very much.
I'm sorry. I think you've told me enough. I should be able to make the bouquet now.
Ah, wonderful. Thank you, Hanako.
Wow. Oh my god. This is so terrible. Do we put all the lost ones in there? Or is that, like, rude? Like, he doesn't want to think about that. But why is so many of them say regret? Oh my god. I feel like we have to put in the lost ones. Maybe some carnation. Sorrow. Maybe some gratitude. We need some money. Let's just put in super expensive ones. Let's get this grieving man out of all of his money. Take him for everything. Maybe this one because he's old. Wisdom. Honor. He's honoring.
Here you go. It's done.
He hates it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Okay, we're good.
Thank you so much. You've done an amazing job.
You mentioned you wanted to see my grandpa. Should I ask him to come?
Thank you, but I've just realized it would be better to see him another time.
When I'm not crippled with depression.
Come visit us again. I'm sure he'll be happy to meet an old friend.
Very well. We'll be going now. Goodbye, Hanako.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Jesus. I think we definitely need to eat our feelings after that one. Take a break.
I will take a small break.
Yeah. Yeah, we will. We will be Oh. We get more food. Where does it come from? What do you need? I feel like you need ice cream after that story. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Listen to music. Okay, that's probably enough of that. We need money.
Greetings to the owner.
Oh.
Welcome, dear visitor.
Palate cleanser time.
I'm Hanako. I'd be glad to help you.
My name is Arisugawa Sachiko.
Oh.
Pleasure to meet you.
That's a long name.
Judging from the look on your face, you don't recognize me. What a relief.
I'm your high school bully.
Huh? Oh, pardon. Are you a celebrity?
Oh, it's Lady Gaga again.
I'm sorry. I spend all my time in the shop. I'm completely out of the loop about some things.
It's all good. I'm actually a bit happy that someone doesn't know who I am.
But I'd like to know how you became famous. It's not every day that someone gets to talk to a celebrity.
It's a wacky story. I'm not sure you'll even believe it.
Oh my god.
That makes it more interesting, I think. We're all used to life being routine. Nothing extraordinary ever happens. And all of the incredible stories you hear only exist in books and on TV. But unbelievable things do happen around us. Even if not very often, you just need to know where to look. I'm not great at it, to be honest.
Ah, I like your perspective. Hopefully not just because it's similar to my own.
Love interest.
You're on the right track without even realizing it, Hanako. I got popular thanks to TV. Do you watch TV?
Never heard of it.
I don't even have one. Grandpa bought a radio a while back. It entertains us to this day.
Is this set in like 1953 or something?
Interesting. I think that's for the best. I'd like to apologize in advance if my story turns out to be, somewhat repulsive.
What? She did something repulsive on television.
Shows about regular people flaunting their seemingly unique skills are currently very popular.
Just Kim
Abracadabra,
Kardashian.
and suddenly there's a whole rabbit family jumping out of someone's hat.
What? What?
As you correctly mentioned, we don't notice the incredible around us. Yet we need it so dearly. We want to believe in the miracles we were told about in children's stories and fables so much. So we're able to convince ourselves that even the most bizarre things are true.
This is taking a turn.
There was a popular show recently called Magical Tricks, where kids would do magic tricks for the audience. Sounds innocent enough, but at some point the producers decided to deceive the audience. They showed a blindfolded girl guessing the cards held by another person. All was going well at first. The ratings rose as more and more people flocked to see cute Suzume. Her range of skills was constantly growing, until she made a mistake. During live broadcast, the girl guessed the sum of money from the previous show, instead of guessing a card like she was supposed to for that day's show.
What? I do not understand the premise of this show. Is she supposed to be psychic or something?
100 yen, little Suzume shouted with a sense of accomplishment. That moment was the end of the show, of course.
Huh?
Oh my! She confused the performances? What did the audience say? They were probably outraged.
Oh, yes, they were. They started shouting, calling people names, screaming about frauds and cheats. It was strange, because if they had taken the time to think about what they were seeing, they would have developed a healthy skepticism eventually anyway. And when the broadcasters were sweating buckets and the audience was at a breaking point, I stepped forward and started playing.
So you were there! And here I was wondering about your connection to all of this.
Yeah, we really wondered why you were telling us this batshit weird story.
I had an important role. At the most dramatic moments of the show, I was supposed to play my violin and send chills down everyone's spines. And what can be more dramatic than the fall of a TV giant because of a mere 100 yen? They weren't listening at first, but in a few minutes, everyone was completely focused on me. I poured all my compassion for little Suzume into the melody, as well as all my contempt for these immature adults. While I was playing, the producers and the TV channel employees were desperately trying to use this unexpected opportunity to fix their mistake. And me? I was just having a pointed and, unfortunately, one-sided conversation with the audience through my music. When I finished and received a very generous round of applause, reserved originally for the little magician, the host seemingly picked something up from the floor and handed it to me. Here, you dropped this. Ah, that's 100 yen, he shouted with fake enthusiasm, still slightly afraid. Miss Suzume is so talented, she was able to predict you dropping these coins, and she even guessed the correct amount.
What the
Ew.
fuck?
I have an active imagination. Closing my eyes for a moment, I can picture everything you're describing, clear as day. Ugh, gross.
You're so funny, Hanako. I agree. Ew is what they deserve.
Did anyone still believe the girl was a psychic?
They did. Or they pretended to, but that was more than enough for the TV crews. They eventually left Suzume alone to finish school in peace. They claimed they had no right to intrude upon the little magician's personal space. And since she was the star of Magical Tricks, the show was dead in the water without her. They canceled it soon after she left. And to cover their tracks, they put me in the spotlight instead. This is how I became the passionate violinist with a dark-colored boyish haircut that you, Hanako, could have seen every Sunday at 9 on the screen of your TV box during the morning show, playing the soul strings. If you had a TV, of course.
This is the most bizarre story that I've ever heard in my life.
I'm ready to buy a very small TV box just for you. But since we have a radio, wouldn't it be better to listen to you instead of watching?
Yeah, there's a lot more going on in this game than arranging flowers. It's like arranging flowers is like the side quest between batshit insanity.
You're completely right. These days, they're putting more and more value on how a musician looks. But it's like dressing up a scarecrow in a tuxedo. Their appearance doesn't affect their performance. Listen to me on the radio, Hanako. I hope my bow touches the strings of your heart, too.
The famous radio-played violinists of our time.
I will.
It's what we do to keep our hands busy while making friends. That is the tagline of this game. They should have hired you.
Sometimes customers arrive here with a heavy load in their hearts. Of course, I try to cheer them up, but I'm not always able to. In moments like these, music is the sweetest medicine.
I understand you well. And thanks to little Miss Suzume, I've had the opportunity to treat many people to my soul-easing dulcet tones.
Whew, that's a heck of a life story. Miss Erisugawa, do you
She
believe
said
in
heck.
coincidences after what happened?
She just said heck, but the subtitle said hell. We're playing the
I've walked around
R-rated
2
version.
tram stops, and I've
of the
had 6 strangers
captions.
bother me for my autograph. And after that, I completely coincidentally chance upon a florist who knows the least about me of anyone else in the city. How can one believe in coincidences after all that? Everything in our lives is destiny, no doubt.
It's a stretch. That's
Sorry,
a
Miss
stretch.
Erisugawa, but if I had only known my humble shop would be visited by such a star, I'd have prepared accordingly.
Oh my god, all the sounds.
So, you promise to help me?
I'm ready.
I want to give a bouquet to little Suzume. She's young and pure still, but the so-called real world has already tainted her with its lies. Whatever you say, I don't think it's fair how she was treated.
Do you regret things working out this way?
Regret. Regret. We're gonna need a regret flower.
No. I
What?
regret that our little beauty had to play the role of a smiling doll in a
Beauty?
disgusting spectacle
Regret.
run by the adults purely for their own
Disgusting.
benefit.
We need beauty, regret, and disgusting flowers.
I feel sympathy towards little one. But I also
Sympathy.
feel gratitude, because thanks to her, I've had a
Gratitude.
rare opportunity to reach the masses
See,
with my music.
I should be able to click this so that I remember, because in 2 seconds I won't remember.
Her confused little face gave me the emotional push I needed for a successful performance. She inspired me. I don't think the people around her tease her about that mistake, because few people even know about it. But I still feel it's my duty to visit her and ask how she's doing.
Wonderful. Wait a moment then. I'll compose a bouquet so you don't have to see her empty-handed.
Regret. I don't remember any of the words again. What the hell? Gratitude, right? She said gratitude. What were the other ones? Sympathy. One was sympathy. There is no flower that means sympathy. You literally give flowers for that. Oh my god. Sympathy. Gratitude. Beauty. Regret. Did we put this one in? That was gratitude. That's probably good, right? I'm not giving her my last Frisia. Can't do that. Maybe that one? I like how it looks
Next
lopsided.
time I'll be sure to come wearing a hat so I can take it off as a sign of gratitude.
Good luck, Miss Arisugawa. I'm looking forward to your next visit, even without the hat.
See you, Hanako!
Did she say she liked it? I feel like she was just kind of like, man.
That's all for today, my sweet flower shop. I will go rest, and you should as well.
Okay, so do we only get like 2 customers a day? Is that the... I wonder if you can only do so many actions a day. They didn't tell us that. We get letters? Oh. You can buy the stuff. I guess we just go to sleep. Wait, should we have ordered something? I guess it's too late. Once you click on this, you're locked. You're locked. I like how it's daytime when we're going to sleep. Oh.
To give away dogs with flowers. What an odd thing to do.
Thank you. I wanted to circle back to this. Thank you for, you know, validating what the rest of us are thinking.
I've never heard of anything like that in my entire life.
Yes.
Who thinks this stuff up?
I mean, she was real crazy.
Not to give away, to sell.
No, don't justify this.
Rin likes dogs a lot, and it hurts her to see dogs being mistreated. So she's trying to do something to help.
Is that so? Dogs are man's best friend, no doubts about that there. I used to have a dog. A long time ago, before your father was even born.
Okay.
You did? You never told me that.
Had I told you, you would have wanted one for yourself.
Of course I would have. How is it possible to not want a dog?
That's true. I found mine as well, just as your friend. I was quite young and green back then. Didn't know much about life. Working on the field exhausted me, so I headed back home. All my clothes were covered in dirt, and my trousers had so many holes I could have easily used them as a fishing net. At some point, I saw a poor stray dog walking towards me.
You have a real stray
Seemed like it was
dog
having a
problem
very
in
hard
Japan.
time dealing with the heat. The dog got right in front of me, opened its mouth, and looked straight up at me.
And then bit me.
Let's go to the river and
then I
get you
got
some water, I said to
rabies.
him. People can say, oh, it's an animal, it's dumb and can't understand. But no, animals understand us pretty well. So we went to a river and drank some water. I also washed my face a bit. From then on, I often went back to that river after a long day of work. Sometimes if I saw the dog, I'd greet it. It always recognized me and was always fun to be around. That was what our friendship was like.
You didn't have a dog. You just saw a dog. He's like, let me tell you about this one time I saw a dog.
Then as soon as he came, he went.
This is
And I never saw
literally
him
not
again.
his dog.
Such a shame. He was a great dog.
You just
Even if
told
he
her
had
you
no
had
owner.
a dog. And then you told a story about how you neglected a dog that you found.
Oh, so he didn't live with you?
Yeah, she's calling it.
But you said it was your dog.
Yeah.
I thought you took him back home.
The lies are unraveling.
My home back then wasn't good enough, Hanako, even for a dog.
Yeah, better to just sleep outside. Yeah.
No way.
I'm dead serious. And the dog was mine, that's right.
My home was not fit for a dog, but yet I live there. It's somehow fit for a person, but not a dog.
You don't
The
need an
most
animal to sleep and
Wonderful
eat next to you
20
to call
minutes
it
of my
yours.
life when I saw a dog. I
If
mean,
it remembers
same,
you and is
but
happy to have you around, then it's yours.
no, that's literally not how that works.
I see.
So far, Grandpa is like a neglecting gaslighter parent figure.
Maybe one day, when I work up the courage to get a dog, I'll definitely go see Rin. What do you think? Wouldn't it be great to have a dog?
He's gonna be like over my dead body, and then he's gonna die, and then we can go get a dog. It's better to not have dogs in a flower shop. Yeah, why
Why not?
don't
I don't
stand in the
mind.
way?
We can go together and pick one once you're more used to your duties.
Thank you. And yes, I really want you to go with me. How wonderful. Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask. Do we allow our customers to enter with animals?
I mean, if we're going to have a dog, then yeah.
Well, if an animal is well behaved, then I guess we do.
Well, that one wasn't. So I always forget I have to click. I'm like waiting for something to happen. Okay. Oh god.
Is my grandma there too, among the stars?
Morbid. Okay. I'm gonna be right back. Real quick. Oh god, did we have game audio and music there? Probably was a cacophony. We continue. Oh god, what do we do? There's no flower delivery today. Should we go to the garden? Oh my god, they're ready. Didn't we order seeds? Oh my god, I ordered them, didn't I? What happened? Oh man, we need carnations. I really want to get more flowers. We need these ones still. Again, apparently. Maybe we should ask those children.
Hello,
Oh
Hanako.
god, they're back.
Oh, Sayuri, come in. Great, thank you. What about you?
Need
How's
to
your bakery?
use you for
Everything
your
is going
free
well.
labor.
My parents are trying to come up with a new recipe, and Aya is doing her best to help them. And it takes twice as long with her involved.
Well, forget that. You're working for me
Oh,
now.
really? But I bet it's also twice as fun when Aya is involved.
Absolutely. So, anyways, Hanako, we're planning to go for a walk today. I just wanted to see if you need any fresh flowers.
I always do, Sayuri. It'd be great if you could bring me some.
We
That
should have
helped me
just
out a lot.
always take her up
No
on this, huh?
problem. We'd love to help you, Hanako. See you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Oh, was that just a nap? Were we just taking a nap and it's still the same day? That's kind of crazy. Okay, we needed like a bluish purple flower. These look too purple. I don't think that's them. Maybe that? Anemone? I think we did need those. Oh, that was a rose. But it was nighttime. Like the the dogs went out and laid in the sun. Yeah, they're little. They love to just be in the sun, especially Hattie. I don't understand how to get the details to pop up on these. Oh, there's blue. I don't think that was the right blue. Oh well. We get what we get. Wait. She didn't take it. Okay, good enough. What else can we do? Nothing's ready, and we don't... Oh, yeah, there are some ready, but we don't have any seeds. We needed carnations. We should have looked for them. I imagine kind of like the more flowers you get. Shay's here. Hi, Shay. I thought you guys would be off doing 4th of July things. Because I know Ashley's a partier. And she just wants to be partying it up. What the dog doing? Who is supposed to be the dog? Like our literal dogs or like... Okay. Wait for a diabolical customer. Oh my god. Each one is more shrill and jarring than the last. Oh, Dave alerted them via Discord. That's fun.
Hello. Welcome to our flower shop. How may I help you?
I need a flower.
She's got gray hair, so is she old or still a 17-year-old? You're getting Ashley's tooth pulled. Oh my god. I have a cavity too. We're maybe that's why my tooth hurts, is I'm having sympathy pains for Ashley's tooth. Oh my god. How dare she not
Just
tell
one?
me that she's having a medical crisis?
Yes, one is enough. The girls and I need flowers to adorn our costumes. To complete the look, I suppose. Of course, that's usually the job of our costume designers. But we had some free time, so we decided to do it ourselves. I love the girls in this group, but we spend so much time together. I could use a break from their trilling voices, so we split up for this part.
I literally do have a sympathetic cavity. I even broke down and made a dentist appointment this week, which I never do because I hate doctors.
I see. What's this group you're in? Oh, I'm from an idol group called Sunny Bunnies. My name's Miki Miyazaki. Cheers! I guess I should have led with that. I'm Hanako. Nice to meet you. Since you're just Hanako, can we dispense with the formalities? Sure. Lovely. When I walked into your shop, I immediately felt as if we'd known each other for a long time. Such a homey atmosphere.
How'd you guys even find a dentist that's open on the 4th of July? Is this like an emergency situation? I'm not gonna know what flowers to make
I
for
even
her.
forgot to introduce myself.
So I'm not paying
My
any
greeting
attention
came
to
out
her.
strange.
This shop means the world to me. My grandpa and I put a lot of love and effort into it. This place is our home, figuratively and literally. I'm glad others sense kinship and familiarity here.
Aren't you a cute one, Hanako? Maybe you should become a bunny too.
Yikes.
No way! I have stage fright. I only ever sing when nobody can hear me, and only in whispers.
I'm sure you could do it if you tried.
Maybe. But still, I think I'd rather watch you on TV when I'm visiting the Amari family. Which channel are you on?
Why is everyone on television?
I don't watch TV. I've got to be on one of them, I guess.
What?
Still, you're unlikely to see me.
Why?
I'm on public access.
There are 48 of us in the group. That's a hell of a lot. For all of us to perform together and have enough room to dance,
There's
we'd need a giant
48
stage.
people
The audience
in
wouldn't know
this
where to look.
K-pop group.
I've heard large groups often split into smaller subgroups. You do that too?
Yeah, we split up into teams depending on the song. There are 3 subgroups in total, so you'd have to tune in when mine is performing. And, well, to be
Again,
honest,
I think this
they
is
don't put me in the
lost in
front. I've never
cultural.
been in the center, either. Not even close.
Oh my god, you're at the dentist right now. Oh my god, good luck.
Other girls are always in front of me when we perform, and I maybe get 3 seconds of screen time in music videos.
It's because of the super high quality, these graphics that we're projecting right now. The dental Wi-Fi cannot handle them.
I used to worry I'd forget the words, make a weird face, or fumble my
It's
moves, but
120
since
FPS
nobody can see me
game.
anyway, then I guess. And not to worry, we do lots of rehearsals and thoroughly memorize lyrics.
Yeah, tell Ashley we said good luck.
Recently, Yuki woke
I'll
up
be
in the middle of
sure
the night and started singing our new single.
To
She even tried to
text
dance
her later.
as much as she could without getting out of bed. We asked her about this spontaneous midnight performance, but she didn't remember. She thought we were messing with her. Can you believe it? She must have been having a dream about us singing. She's a jolly girl, even if she is a bit stuck up.
Okay, we need a stuck-up flower.
Yeah, many of our girls are very striking.
Narcissist.
I don't compare to them, though.
I'm sure you have fans of your own, and that they hold their breaths for those 3 seconds when they get to watch you.
Thank you, Hanako. I have a big dream to perform in the center one day. To become the best, the fluffiest bunny. I'll be the first to enter the stage, greet the audience, and then sing and dance in a sea of happy smiles and jolly eyes. I can do it. I'm sure of it. If I work hard, I can do it. Oh no, I'm talking your ear off.
Yes.
Don't worry. Talking to clients is part of my
That
job.
seems to be the theme of this game.
Thanks.
Flower shop therapist.
So the flower. Can you pick one for me, Hanako?
Sure thing.
Oh god, we're already to that point? Guys, what? Oh my god. I wasn't paying attention. A jolly stuck-up girl. And she's lazy. She doesn't like getting out of bed. She makes weird faces. All very relevant. What? I don't feel like they told us enough about this girl. Kinship and familiar. That's what I said, though. I feel like they did not give us anything to go on. I'm not... Oh my god. I literally don't know. Wait, I can only do one flower in this one. Wait, I don't... This is hard. A stuck-up girl who's lazy. I'm at a loss. I have no idea. Do you think it'll let us fail if I do the wrong one? Sorry, I'm locked in. Parsing this for any clues. Sunny bunnies. I feel like I'm just gonna use this one. Do any of them mean dream? That one does. What if we just go generic rose?
No, it's not right. Something is off.
We lost.
This flower would probably work better.
A lilac. Dream. Oh, see, I didn't scroll long enough to see dream. See, I thought of dream. What is this lopsided?
So pretty! Thank you, Hanako.
Why does she want a single flower?
Hey, I should be thanking you. For a few minutes, I was a personal florist for a showbiz star, all because of you.
Come on, what are you saying?
Come again if you need more flowers.
Count on it. Hanako,
Yes?
if I don't need flowers, can I still come?
Oh my god, we're opening a therapy.
Of course, Mickey.
A therapist's office. Ooh, there goes a plane. I wonder if you're gonna be able to hear that.
Okay then,
There's
bye.
an air show by our house right now. We need a
I will
break
take a
after
small
that. Look at
break.
that. That took away 9 of my happiness points from dealing with that woman. That was hard. Like, I don't understand what we were supposed to have gotten from that conversation. What should we have? We only have one of all of these things. And we need 9 happiness points. We have 3 apples. We could just eat those. I mean, 94. We don't have to be at 100 all the time. We can jingle the bell. Oh, we can also just listen to music. Maybe we'll hear the violin girl. Oh, that's good. You can hear the planes. That one wasn't very loud either. Sometime. Oh my god, that jumped us up to 100 so fast. So I already made an order. I can just unlimited go walking for flowers every single day. It's kind of weird. Like, how long are these days?
Ahsoka,
Oh
I
my
need your
god.
help. Are you here? Oh, Hanako. Hello there.
Welcome, Mr. Tsukamoto. How can I be of assistance?
Thank you, but there's no need. I'm here to see old man Ahsoka. I want him to fashion me a bouquet. Is he away?
Grandpa's away right now, but I'm here. I'm an Asaoka as well, you know, and I'd be more than glad to help. What kind of bouquet do you need? Tell me more.
Yes, please give me specific information.
Wow. You think you're up to the task?
Don't be cryptic.
Well, why not? After all, your grandfather is so thorough when it comes to flower arrangement. You must have picked up a thing or two from him.
You would have thought that, but you'd be wrong.
Okay. What do you want to know?
Anything that will help me pick the best flowers for you. Who they're for,
Okay.
your relationship to that person, what kind of feelings you want to project. Anything and everything.
See, she's learning that she has to ask these people specific information or they're just gonna trauma dump on her.
I won't tell you everything, but here's the gist of it. It's a delicate situation.
Oh my god, here we go.
Hanako, I'm twice as old as you are, but even I still have to listen to my parents. My mother, specifically.
I relate to this deeply.
She's very worried about me not being married yet. Says she wants to have grandkids and all that. Classic story. I think you get it. I was always waving off the issue and avoiding a serious conversation. Well, at least until Mother stopped joking about it and started pushing me rather seriously. Relentlessly, even.
This is a good time to talk about boundaries. So we need a flower that says, get some boundaries. We need a flower that says, no contact. I need to write that in my notebook.
At least go out and meet somebody. There's so many pretty girls around. What can I say against that? She's my mother, after all. So I decided to try my hand in dating again. Revive my hopelessly abandoned search for a fiancé.
Interesting.
Oh my god,
So
they're
the
gonna get
bouquet needs
married.
to have some romance to
Love
it.
interest, dating sim.
Please tell me who you're going on a date with and what you want to get out of it.
She's gonna pick flowers for herself.
Mother
right now.
herself spent ages telling me who I'm going on a date with. From what I gather, she's the daughter of one of my mother's countless colleagues. But this is the first time I'm hearing about her.
It's literally
She's around
gonna
my
be
age.
her.
Tidy and sophisticated. Works as a flight
Oh
attendant.
darn! It's not. Wouldn't it be funny if she works as a florist?
I've been told so many great things about her that I now feel like a rich man lacking the will to finally buy an expensive car.
What does that
I
mean?
just don't understand why she's single, if she has so many incredible qualities.
So, you don't know
mean-
much about her.
Valid.
It's difficult to pick the right flowers in this kind of situation. The bouquet often ends up looking bland, as if made to be liked by anyone, and that's not possible.
So you're saying it's hopeless?
Hopeless. A flower that says hopeless boundaries
Absolutely
and no
not.
contact.
Tell me about your feelings. I will pick the appropriate flowers so you can share those feelings without using a single word.
I would like to be genuinely enraptured by this woman. So much so that I wouldn't be able to wait to meet her again. It'll be our first date, but I want her to be friendly
Coming on
and even show some
strong
trust.
here. That's a carnation. Yes.
It's very hard for me to communicate.
Let's get her
I
a
feel like the
bouquet
other
of
person is expecting some kind of
carnations.
deceit. Or relationships require effort.
But we gotta
So if
upsell
we make it,
though.
I'm
So we
ready
gotta
to
make
constantly
money.
work to maintain an atmosphere of mutual understanding.
Okay, mutual
As strange
understanding
as it may
flowers.
seem, despite my skepticism, I'm going on this date with the belief that no matter what happens, everything will be for the best.
I think that's
So
wonderful.
fate.
That way you won't be disappointed in the end.
A fated
Old man
flower.
Asaoka taught me this lesson. To not despair and to not exaggerate my problems.
Really? What brought that up?
There's no story or anything specific to it. I had some struggles I couldn't overcome head on. And really got me down. But I had Asaoka nearby, who was banging his head against the wall, trying to open a flower shop. And just, you know, it's hard to complain about a bruised knee when your neighbor has had his own broken 3 times. Well, it's nothing. Just a thought that came to mind. So do you want to know anything else about the date?
I think you've told me enough. Time to get to work.
Oh, crap. Loneliness. Love beauty dream. I mean, I guess, yeah, for sure. This one's gonna be perfect, and we have so many of them. Yes, let's put 2 of those in there. Hope might be good. Shyness. That may be fun. Dream. No, nostalgia and youth doesn't really make sense though. Let's just put lots of roses in there. We gotta upsell this guy, right? What do we put 3 roses in there? Our most expensive flower. I mean, go big or go home. Love beauty dream.
No, it's not right.
I only have one of those, bitch. You can't.
What if I replaced this flower with this one? And then, well, we'll see.
Oh god, she's like, you've messed up. You've messed up a lot, and I can only tell you one wrong thing at a time. That's my only one left. Should we get rid of another? Let's get rid of our duplicates. But I thought Hope's good, right? Because what was this one? Oh, I can't tell because we only had one. Trust. Hope. See, I feel like this isn't good when you don't have multiple tags of something because it's like you lack like a clear message. What if we do 2 of those mystery ones? Do we have 2 of the mystery ones? Yes. Okay, she accepted it.
There you go. All of your feelings expressed in flowers.
Really? Does anyone actually understand what flowers express except for you florists?
No,
How does a person come to understand your bouquet?
they don't.
It's a bit of a difficult topic. Grandpa would have been able to explain it better. But the gist of it is, people just feel it. For example, you don't need to be a tailor to choose a tie for yourself. You may know nothing about how it is sewn or the materials used, but if it doesn't suit you, you'll probably know. It's the same with flowers. Their color, petal shape, size, and scent combine together to tell a story we all understand on a certain level.
You can just say it's based on vibes.
Some understand it better.
Look at how rich
some
we
worse,
are.
But everyone does in their own way.
You don't have to know how to read notes to enjoy music, right?
Exactly.
Well, flowers remain a mystery to me, but I discovered something new today. I'll have a lot to think about before bed tonight. Thank you, Hanako.
Always glad to help.
By all accounts, you're just like your grandpa, but you have your mother's eyes. All right, I better get going.
We're gonna marry him.
Towards the unknown.
Good luck.
You too, miss. You too.
That's all for today, my sweet flower shop. I will go rest, and you should as well.
Hell yeah, let's end this never-ending day. It's raining. I forgot to check the weather. Didn't it say we can't pick flowers or work in the garden when it's raining? I think is what they said.
Huh? Tin? No, it's the dog next door.
We're really fiending for a dog in this game. Finally. That's all we got? I thought we ordered more than that. Okay, the twins saved us a little bit. So now if I go to do this, I can't do any of it. But we can ask them to do it. Go walk out in the rain and get diphtheria or something. So that I can sell your flowers for my profit. Okay, so we need more of these. So these are a big seller. And we need freesia, but we can't grow it or buy it. Which makes so much sense. We just need lots of more seeds. Like, just a ton more. We'll get like all of those. I'm just buying. Let's get more of those because we don't even have any. Oh. Oh no. Devil. Do we send them? Like, I feel like that's so mean. I'm not doing that. I mean, I guess we can't really do anything.
Greetings. I saw your sign and I
Okay.
decided I'd come in.
Now this is a love interest. He's an appropriate age, kind of, maybe.
And you were
Not
right.
that we
too.
can really tell these people's ages.
My name is Hanako. Welcome to our flower shop. How can I help you?
Oh, thank you for being so courteous. My name's Yohei. It's so beautiful here. So many flowers. Such a pleasant atmosphere.
Thank you. May I compose a bouquet for you, perhaps? You can take a part of this atmosphere with you.
Yes, please. That's actually why I'm here. Also,
to buy flowers
no
for
need
myself.
to be so formal. We seem to be about the same age, and honestly, it's a little
He's
awkward.
blushing. He's in love with her.
Sure, no problem.
Oh, great. Okay, so I would like to get a bouquet for my school teacher.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's weird. Are you being groomed? Do we need to call CPS?
He was teaching me in classes and helped me prepare for admission exams as a tutor.
Suspicious.
My parents insist on me thanking him, but I just keep putting it off. But today I thought, I'll be leaving soon, so it's now or never. Will you help me with a bouquet?
Yes, of course. Could you give me some more details about how you feel about him? It sounds like you two were close and that you are grateful to him.
Grateful.
But I'll need to know a little more to make a good bouquet.
Grateful
Oh,
flowers.
so flowers aren't so simple, huh? Well, I don't know how I feel about him. I feel nothing, really.
Okay, that's odd.
He taught me in school, that's true, but that's his job, right?
Yes, keep that boundary, King.
And we were paying for his tutoring. It wasn't cheap, by the way. It's his way of making money, so it's not like he was doing it out of the kindness of his heart.
Wow, okay, we're being a little rude about it now.
And us being close is also an exaggeration. Yes, we spent a lot of time together, but that can be said about all of Kunikita's students. Most of them I don't even know.
Well, you're not buying flowers for the students.
You're also from Kunikita High? I graduated this year.
Me too.
And yeah, you don't know each other in this
See?
very tiny
We went
town.
to the same school, we're the same age, but this is the first time we've met.
Yes, that's a little convenient.
Okay, could you tell me more about yourself?
So meet cute.
You said you were leaving soon.
I got an opportunity to study at a foreign university, so I'm getting ready to move.
I'm gonna be an economist.
What will you be studying?
Physics.
Oh, ew.
Wow, physics make my head spin.
I'm just a dumb girl.
Really?
Yes, I'm more into history or literature.
Humanitarian.
Are you laughing at me?
Sorry, no offense.
She should be. She is a woman in STEM, literally. Like, she is into flower stems. So, why is she not
I'll be
interested
studying
in
physics.
science?
It's a discipline that explains a lot about the world we live in, but at the same time, very few students are actually interested in it. Besides me, no more than 4
Please
students
don't talk
attend the
about
after-hours
physics.
class.
And I can understand why.
Oh, come
It's
on.
gonna mansplain physics to her right now.
Okay, do you like music?
Of course. Me and my grandpa love listening to the radio, and we went to this concert once, and
And music is sound, and there's so much physics going on behind
Oh
sound.
my god, he's
You can
mansplaining
study something
music.
to better understand what you like, but people are just not interested in doing that. Physics explains how sound waves spread, how acoustics affect them, even the nature of volume. We've known these things for a long time now.
You are like my husband explaining how to set up your desktop audio and why I should have a mic and
My
not
dad's
a headset.
right. People don't want to put in the effort and learn how things work.
tell me,
Yep,
Yohei.
I'm pretty sure
did
he
you
said
learn
that to
all
me.
of this from your teacher?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, I was also studying a lot, and some things my dad told me, but yeah, most of it I learned from my teacher.
How interesting. Everything I know about flowers, how to look after them, how and where to grow them, what they need and what they mean, I learned from my grandpa. It's not just my job, it's my whole world. No words exist to describe how grateful I am to him for teaching me these. But you are very cold toward a person who is sharing their knowledge with you for so long.
Yes.
That's so unexpected.
That's what you can expect from people in STEM.
You think I should treat him as a friend?
Not necessarily as a friend, but at least kinder. He managed to get you interested in his subject, and that's not easy. During my history lessons, some students wouldn't pay attention to the class, even though Mr. Fujioka was trying his best to keep it interesting and to involve us with it. But hearing you talk about music and sound, it makes me regret my time in humanitarian sciences. And the tutoring. Maybe it's thanks to him you have an opportunity to study abroad.
You know what? You're right, Hanako. My dad's been saying the same thing. He always told me I was taking all the good things I have for granted, and that it was a mistake that'll come back to bite me. He told me I need to learn to appreciate even the simpler moments, like getting ice cream after school. If I think about it, my teacher really did open my eyes to plenty of new things.
There you go.
I feel embarrassed for not thinking about this sooner.
But now we can compose a bouquet.
We
You think
can.
so?
Yes. You just focus on your own thoughts. Any memorable moments from your classes. You can even close your eyes. I do that when thinking long and hard.
I remember our first private lesson.
Oh, this is going dark.
Me and my parents had already decided I would try to go to a foreign university. It was a new reality I hadn't imagined for myself before. Almost half the lesson was spent with me and my teacher talking about the future, which was incredibly anxiety-inducing. He said his niece was also studying abroad, that she liked it, and that her parents were very proud. In that moment, I think we established a true connection between us. That of mentor and student.
And boyfriend.
But I guess that relationship faded over time. We didn't speak casually like that again. And I was embarrassed about that first conversation, so I didn't bring it up again.
No worries. It's never too late to say thank you.
Men can't
And
acknowledge feelings.
sorry as
Got
well.
it.
So, should we compose a bouquet?
We should.
Okay. Yeah. Admiration and respect. That's good. Yeah, okay. See, we're using all the same flowers. It's so annoying. Oh, here's another admiration and gratitude. I feel like you always just need to sneak a rose in there. I mean, probably love is not appropriate though. We don't want to like double into the. So I think as long as you hit like the meaning, like enough of the meaning things, it doesn't really matter maybe how many flowers you use. And I would put more of this. But then we're out of it. But it's really... Purity is weird. Like, why purity? Isn't it weird? I feel like we need more gratitude. Do we have more gratitude? Oh, we have tons of those flowers. Yeah. I wish we didn't have so much purity in this. Let's get rid of that one. What else means purity? That we've got too much of. That? Yeah, that one didn't really make sense in there anyway. I feel like I'm overthinking this. Maybe honor? We don't have any other. Yeah, let's hammer home the respect. I feel like this is good, probably.
No, it's not right. Something is off.
Oh my god.
What if I replaced this flower with...
They're so nitpicky. I feel like that was good, and I actually tried. How does sorrow, loyalty, and regret fit into that? Okay.
Here you go.
It's beautiful. Pity I have to gift it.
Come again after. I'll compose you another.
It's a deal. Okay, I'll be going.
Oh, before I forget, see if your teacher would like to write to you while you're abroad. I occasionally get letters from my clients, and it's always nice to hear from
Maybe
them.
he can write to her, and then they can fall in love and get married.
Oh, great idea. I'll tell him what I learned about the world of physics.
No, don't write to him about
And
that.
you'll have someone from your town to talk to.
Like me.
You're right. That is no less important. Okay, now I'll really be going.
We
Bye,
can get
Hanako.
letters in this eventually.
See you.
We're
will
very
take a small
unhappy.
break.
That bummed us out.
Give me food.
What is the most powerful cake? Chocolate. We're burning through this food. Is it gonna rain all day? Can we take a nap yet? Do we send the twins out in the weather? I wonder what it does if we say that.
But what is it, Aya? I went to WoW too.
It's just look at that! Unbelievable! Fantastic! Stellar! Wow!
What is she freaking
What
out about?
is it? Why are you circling around me like that? Whoa! Please stop. All this spinning is making my head whirl.
Hanako, let me translate. Aya is jealous over that young man who came out of your shop recently.
Oh my gosh. Yohei, all this fuss is about him?
Oh my god, I'm glad we asked
I
them.
tried calming her down, but it only made things worse.
Girls, he'll be moving far, far away soon. His only contact with me might be through letters.
Ooh, so you'll have a long-distance relationship?
Why does this say relationship? Relationship is
That
hilarious.
does sound romantic, Hanako. Will you let us read what
Especially
he writes
since
to you?
there are literal sheep in this game.
What? Sayuri, you too?
Oh, and let's write back to him together. I'll draw
Maybe
some
this
flowers
game
on
is
the paper that had a
Inception and
lovely
we're
touch.
dreaming
He'll
and
like
that
it.
was like telling us that we're in our dream with the sheep.
And I'll share some of my favorite bubblegum for your wedding.
What?
Hanako, come dance with us so we can practice for the ceremony.
Go out in this terrible weather and get me flowers.
Move your arm, move your leg, this way, that way.
All right. This way and that way.
You're so clumsy, neighbor.
Sorry, girls. I can't quite move that way.
Forcing us to participate and then making fun of us.
Well, at least we had fun. At least you loosened up a bit, Hanako. Always so serious. Like an afternoon toad.
An afternoon toad.
All right. I'll try to be less serious. Just please, don't compare me to a toad anymore. Okay, girls.
Boundaries.
Now, I expect you to bring me some flowers for the shop as an apology for the injuries I got from
Yes,
dancing.
that's right. Punish them. Send them out into the rain.
We were going to suggest bringing you flowers anyway.
Oh, see, they were going to go and do it anyway, so I don't have to feel guilty.
It's okay. I'll manage. Thanks for cheering me up, but I've got to get back to work.
Bye, neighbor. Don't forget, we'll be back soon. And don't forget to feed your relationship.
It says relationship again.
Bye, Hanako.
Relationship. Oh, I keep forgetting we could just listen to music. I kind of want to let her get super depressed, though, and see what happens. Like, does she just start yelling at everyone? Telling them to F off? Giving them poison ivy and poison sumac? I mean, I've only seen like a couple typos. But otherwise I think they've done a pretty good job. The relationship is hilarious. I kind of am glad that it's there.
Ruff, 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 ruff.
Hi, Tin. Who's that you've got on a leash? Huh? Are you walking her on your own? Where's your owner?
Ruff, ruff.
The dog got a dog.
Where's Rin? Doesn't look like she's coming. I don't get it. Tin wouldn't have gone anywhere without her.
The dog is walking a dog. I mean, I have 3 dogs, and I feel like we've greatly missed an opportunity to where we do not have to walk them, and we can send Gussie outside with Irma and Hattie, and she can walk them. I don't know why we didn't think about this.
What's that? Yikes!
Like, what have we been doing?
Could it be Rin enchanted to look like a dog, and now she can't speak? Rin, is that really you?
Rin is enchanted to look like a dog? We have crossed the line into bat shit.
I'm not the best at dog speak, but it seems you found that amusing.
Am I gonna have to translate what a dog flower bouquet needs to look like?
But really,
I can't even
have no
handle the
idea what this all
humans.
means. Ah, I see. There's a letter tucked behind your collar. And some kind of bundle. Dear Hanako, my warmest greetings to you. First things first, give Tin some cookies from the bundle. Oh, if you're reading this, he earned them. He sure did. Here, Tin, catch. You too, of course. Don't be alarmed.
aliens
that Tin
are
is
not
walking
off the
Tina by
table.
himself. Surprise! It's an old circus trick.
That might be
It
the
always
end.
puts me in a good mood.
We just
I
get
hope you
beamed
had a
up
good
to the
laugh, too.
mothership.
Yep, and I'm not the only one. Though I've never seen something like this outside of a circus ring. You're amazing, Hanako. Me too, of course. It was a marvelous idea. The puppy with the flowers became an overnight sensation. Word got around in the neighborhood. Lots of people came to see Crimson. And they wouldn't stop asking about the bouquet. Aww.
These people are weird.
Crimson already got himself an owner. Yay! A young border guard. He promised to raise the puppy into a vigilant defender. Now people want to see more doggies with flowers.
I wonder how many open wounds he has
How
from
wonderful!
the dog biting him.
I'm ecstatic that I didn't have to give up the stall or waste my time just sitting there like I did before. It's not like there weren't other options, but we solved this the right way. Soon, the puppies will each find a home. I don't want to take up all your time, so I've sent orders to different florists around town.
What
This will
the
also make the
hell?
bouquets more varied and interesting. I'm a genius.
We humored this woman by making her a floral arrangement for her dog, and she's taking her business elsewhere. We could have been the exclusive dog florists, and she's taken away this opportunity from us.
The world's humblest genius.
I know what flowers I'm not giving her, and it's the loyalty flowers, okay? She's not loyal.
I'm glad it worked too. It seemed like a long shot at first, but Rin was so persistent, more than the troubles that followed her. Oh, looks like there's more than just thanks written here. Here, she's done congratulating herself.
Yeah, let's skip to the end there.
Naturally, you remain my most prestigious florist, Hanako. Not sure what that means, but whatever. You're number one, and I'll only call on you in the most dire of circumstances.
Seems like a lot of lip service here.
Hanako, they're here.
She's like,
the
oh,
dire circumstances.
you're great or whatever, but...
Right now, I have a puppy sleeping in a basket, and only you can have a sense of its personality.
Great.
The next part is about how cute the sleeping puppy is. Oh my, Rin's going overboard with the description.
Yep, let's skip to the words.
You know, Hanako, I just realized that there's something people find more off-putting than rambunctiousness. It's aloofness.
The puppy is aloof?
My new girl, Lada, is indifferent to play and touch. She's lovely and gentle, and guests always notice her. But her peculiarity doesn't make a great impression.
Oh no, she's autism.
Oh, you think she's beautiful too, Tin?
A beautiful...
She doesn't mind being picked up. She responds to commands, and she does play. Sort of. While she's at it, she looks a bit, sad. Or as if her heart isn't in it. No response to affection. No hand-licking. Won't even wag her tail.
A depressed dog?
I was worried she was sick. I ended up having to send a few careless customers away. They had no idea what kind of pup they were dealing with. Others catch on. They imagine having a dog like that would be difficult and boring. Lada is special. She doesn't need love. Not the kind we're used to giving. Patience,
Patience.
care, sure.
Okay,
But
I can work with
understanding
patience.
her inner nature is what's truly important.
I can work with patience.
It's like she's talking about an actual friend, not just a dog. But maybe that's what Lotta is to her. And
Okay, we don't.
she's a
We
reserved,
really need the
modest
dog interjection.
Dare I say, brooding, if that's even the right word for a dog.
Reserved and modest. We have a flower
She
for that.
needs a kindred soul, the kind she could just snuggle up to quietly. It has to be someone who won't bother her when she doesn't want company, and who won't be upset by her lone wolf ways. Even with an understanding friend, preferably a young woman or a little girl, Lotta would need some alone time occasionally. Just her and her dog thoughts.
Me as a dog.
There's some great mystery to this little doggy, a puzzle even I can't crack. That's why it takes so many words, and why none of them are quite right. Whoever figures out this puzzle will forge an unbreakable bond with her. I have no doubt about that.
I wonder if this is
Almost
going to be
no
our
doubt.
dog.
Whew, such an unusual dog. A philosophical pup. I'm truly sorry I can't be here in person to tell you all about Lotta and how things are going. This little dog shelter of mine turned into a real business. I can barely keep up with everything, even with my friends helping out. It's such a mess, but it's kind of fun. Seems about right. I trust your gut feeling. Good luck, and see you soon. Rin is right. It's best to rely on my intuition here. The
Okay,
bouquet
but I
and the one
do
it's for,
that.
they're both like a puzzle.
And you tell
Gotta
me I'm
think
wrong.
outside the box. Shall we?
Oh my god, we don't need the dogs saying things. Okay. Patience, reserved, and modest. And I think we have a lot of the reserved and modest. Yes. We're getting 2 of those right off the bat. Yes, that's good too. Shyness, consistency, modesty. I think that's it, man. And that maybe just to upcharge. Throw in a rose. I think this is it. This is it with the rose. We did it.
Done. A peculiar bouquet.
This dog is a Mormon. It's so modest. Like, no cleavage at all. Was that really 666? That's the second time we've had that number in this game.
Except, how do we deliver it?
The dog, clearly.
There's a P.S. in Rin's letter. Please tuck in the flowers to Tin's collar like the letter? Is this a good idea? Won't it get messed up on the way? All right, you postal
No,
doggies.
you're thinking
I believe in
too
you.
logically.
Forever
Shove
your
it in
friend.
there.
P.P.S. By the way, Hanako, would you like to try your hand at dog training? It's easy and super fun. Rin made a whole tutorial for this. The way she breaks
No.
it down, it does seem easy, but I've never trained dogs. A bit of cheese over here. All right. Tina? Tina, stay. Hold
Oh my
still.
god, the little cheese on its nose.
Still. Done.
Oh my god, its teeth.
Good girl. You did it. Now I'm a dog trainer too. Here, some cheese for the road. It's a long way. That's all for today, my sweet flower shop. I will go rest, and you should as well.
All right. We did it. Our happiness is only at 97. We really can't. Oh, can we go outside now? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Unlock these new ones. That's exciting. Wait, what? Why does it say it's lilac? Didn't it say something else? That's odd. Yeah, now we have a second job. Ooh, these ones are starting. Definitely need more seeds. We definitely need more flowers. We should go walk and try to... Please forget what to click. I wonder if they, like, don't regrow very quickly. Oh, these are the used... Okay, we need those. Those purple ones. I think we need more of these pink ones, too. We need freesia, but that's like a different color pink. Amaryllis? I don't know if that was the right one or not. That's a lilac. I don't think we needed that. Oh, that's it. Out of space. Okay. Alright, I think I'm gonna put her to bed, and I think that will be probably it for now. Go eat lunch with my husband. We were thinking about working on getting the Ethernet. Yeah, we only have spots for 7 flowers when we're picking. So that's why it's like, make sure you're picking the right thing, but also we're not going to tell you which flower is which until you click on it and pick it. So, yeah. Yeah, so we were talking about working on the Ethernet this afternoon, and we're going to eat some lunch. So we'll save. Make sure there's no dialogue after this. Yeah, there's not. Yeah. Nice. Alright. Well, thanks for anybody who stopped by. I have been putting this on YouTube, so I'll probably still continue to do that in the same name under YouTube. Dubious SJ, no spaces. And yeah. Have a great day. Happy holiday to anyone who is in the US. And we'll go.